He saw that the company would have none of it. "Not but what the labourer is worthy of his hire," went on Master Ratsey, "so spile that little breaker of Schiedam, and send a rummer round to keep off midnight chills." He loved a glass of the good liquor well, and with him 'twas always the same reasoning, namely, to keep off chills, though he chopped the words to suit the season, and now 'twas autumn, now winter, now spring or summer chills. They must have found glasses, though I could not remember to have seen any in the vault, for a minute later Fugleman Ratsey spoke again. "Now, lads, glasses full and bumpers for a toast, and here's to Blackbeard, to Father Blackbeard, who watches over our treasure better than he did over his own, for were it not the fear of him that keeps off idle feet and prying eyes, we should have the gaugers in, and our store ransacked 20 times." So he spoke, and it seemed there was a little halting at first, as of men not liking to take Blackbeard's name in Blackbeard's place, or raise the devil by mocking at him. But then some of the bolder shouted "Blackbeard!" and so the more timid chimed in, and in a minute there were a score of voices calling "Blackbeard! Blackbeard!" till the place rang again. Then Elzevir cried out angrily, "Silence! Are you mad, or has the liquor mastered you? Are you revenue men that you dare shout and roister, or contrabandiers with a luger in the offing and your life in your hand? You make noise enough to wake folk in Moonfleet from their beds." "Tut, man!" retorted Ratsey testily, "and if they waked, they would but pull the blankets tight about their ears and say 'twas Blackbeard piping his crew of the lost moons to help 'em dig for treasure." Yet for all that 'twas plain that Block ruled the roost, for there was silence for a minute, and then one said, "Aye, Master Elzevir is right. Let us away, the night is far spent, and we have nothing but the sweeps to take the lugger out of sight by dawn." So the meeting broke up, and the torchlight grew dimmer, and died away as it had come, in a red flicker on the roof, and the footsteps sounded fainter as they went up the passage, until the vault was left to the dead men and me. Yet for a very long time, it seemed hours, after all had gone, I could hear a murmur of distant voices, and knew that some were talking at the end of the passage, and perhaps considering how the landslip might best be restored. So while I heard them thus conversing, I dared not descend from my perch, lest someone might turn back to the vault, though I was glad enough to sit up and ease my aching back and limbs. Yet in the awful blackness of the place, even the echo of these human voices seemed a kindly and blessed thing, and a certain shrinking loneliness fell on me when they ceased at last and all was silent. Then I resolved I would be off at once, and get back to the moonlight bed that I had left hours ago, having no stomach for more treasure hunting, and being glad indeed to be still left with the treasure of life. Thus, sitting where I was, I lit my candle once more, and then clambered across that great coffin, which, for 2 hours or more, had been a mid wall of partition between me and danger. But to get out of the niche was harder than to get in, for now that I had a candle to light me, I saw that the coffin, though sound enough to outer view, was wormed through and through, and little better than a rotten shell. So it was that I had some ado to get over it, not daring either to kneel upon it, or to bring much weight to bear with my hand, lest it should go through. And now having got safely across, I sat for an instant on that narrow ledge of the stone shelf which projected beyond the coffin on the vault side, and made ready to jump forward on to the floor below. And how it happened I know not, but there I lost my balance, and as I slipped, the candle flew out of my grasp. Then I clutched at the coffin to save myself, but my hand went clean through it, and so I came to the ground in a cloud of dust and splinters, having only got hold of a wisp of seaweed, or a handful of those draggled funeral trappings which were strewn about this place. The floor of the vault was sandy, and so, though I fell crookedly, I took but little harm beyond a shaking, and soon, pulling myself together, set to strike my flint and blow the match into a flame to search for the fallen candle. Yet all the time I kept in my fingers this handful of light stuff, and when the flame burnt up again, I held the thing against the light, and saw that it was no wisp of seaweed, but something black and wiry. For a moment I could not gather what I had hold of, but then gave a start that nearly sent the candle out, and perhaps a cry, and let it drop as if it were red hot iron, for I knew that it was a man's beard. Now when I saw that, I felt a sort of throttling fright, as though one had caught hold of my heartstrings, and so many and such strange thoughts rose in me, that the blood went pounding round and round in my head, as it did once afterwards, when I was fighting with the sea and nearly drowned. Surely to have in hand the beard of any dead man in any place was bad enough, but worse 1,000 times in such a place as this, and to know on whose face it had grown; for, almost before I fully saw what it was, I knew it was that black beard that had given Colonel John Moon his nickname, and this was his great coffin I had hid behind. I had lain, therefore, all that time cheek by jowl with Blackbeard himself, with only a thin shell of tinder wood to keep him from me, and now had thrust my hand into his coffin and plucked away his beard, so that if ever wicked men have power to show themselves after death and still to work evil, one would guess that he would show himself now and fall upon me. Thus a sick dread got hold of me, and had I been a woman or a girl I think I should have swooned; but being only a boy, and not knowing how to swoon, did the next best thing, which was to put myself as far as might be from the beard, and make for the outlet. Yet had I scarce set foot in the passage when I stopped, remembering how once already this same evening I had played the coward, and run home scared with my own fears. So I was brought up for very shame, and beside that, thought how I had come to this place to look for Blackbeard's treasure, and might have gone away without knowing even so much as where he lay, had not chance first led me to be down by his side, and afterwards place my hand upon his beard. And surely this could not be chance alone, but must rather be the finger of Providence guiding me to that which I desired to find. This consideration somewhat restored my courage, and after several feints to return, advances, stoppings, and panics, I was in the vault again, walking carefully round the stack of barrels, and fearing to see the glimmer of the candle fall upon that beard. There it was upon the sand, and holding the candle nearer to it with a certain caution, as though it would spring up and bite me, I saw it was a great full black beard, more than a foot long, but going grey at the tips, and had at the back, keeping it together, a thin tissue of dried skin, like the false parting which Aunt Jane wore under her cap on Sundays. This I could see as it lay before me, for I did not handle or lift it, but only peered into it, with the candle, on all sides, busying myself the while with thoughts of the man of whom it had once been part. End of Chapter 4, Part 1.